Hello, Guardians, and welcome to Destiny Reset, episode 217. This show is about anything and everything related to the Destiny franchise. If you love playing Destiny 2 as much as we do, you're in the right place. This reset, we welcome back friends of the show, Danfinity and Better Off Blue, to talk all about the release of Shadowkeep, delivering our thoughts on everything from the campaign to Armor 2.0 and all the ghosts in between. Hello, Guardians, and welcome. It's CyborgSasquatch, and this week, boy, have I stacked the deck. I've got not one, but two special guests to talk Shadowkeep. Welcome back to the show, Better Off Blue and Danfinity. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. Thanks for having us.
This is remarkably mature compared to the previous 3 minutes.
I've been trying to keep it together, and then you pull that out. Come on, man.
I don't know. I just couldn't keep the facade going.
Oh, my gosh.
Welcome back, gents. If you're listening and you're used to the usual lineup of AER0KNIGHT and I, unfortunately, he had some emergencies at home, and we tried to make it work this week, but we just couldn't get on at the same time. Henceforth, I called in my emergency backup podcast support team.
And they said they couldn't make it, so he called us.
Yeah.
So
we're here.
So I called these guys, and they're helping me this week. So, guys, thanks for coming on, and I'm excited to talk about Shadowkeep with you.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been a blast so far.
Well, you've both been on the show before. You know what you're doing here, but in case we have listeners who haven't heard you before, let me take a second and you guys tell us who you are and a little bit about yourself. Let's start with Danfinity.
Oh, hey. My name's Danfinity. My actual name's Dan. It would be weird if I said Dave right there. But
that would be a revelation.
Yeah. Guys, secretly I'm Dave. I stream on Twitch. I'm on like 20 different podcasts now. I edit 19 of those because I'm giving myself a day off. And then so I'm a co-host for Planet Destiny podcast, soon to be back on the stream team there. I record Destiny Digest, which is a short form 5 to 7 minute podcast of the daily news with AER0KNIGHT, Green Eyed Music Lover, and now Sin Media. He just joined. And and then I do Side Quest Sunday in a seasonal format where I invite people on, such as our kind host here, who is our first episode.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, you were great on that one.
Thank you.
Look at you.
Look at me.
Look at you. But yeah, so
but no, it's about you.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it. You can find me on Twitter. I'm not the 13-year-old girl from Mexico.
That's good.
I'm the one. Yeah, there's so my Twitter handle. I couldn't get the same thing as my Twitch, and so if you type Danfinity in, there's two of us, and mine is the one with the lowercase L's as eyes, and hers is the one that's spelled correctly, and she has blocked me on Twitter after I asked to purchase the account name, and yeah. I mean, that's smart of her. She's looking out for us.
I guess.
Are you suggesting that we block you, and that's a smart move?
Yeah, very much so.
All right.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
This is anti-advertisement. This is actually this is me trying to retire, guys.
Ah,
yeah.
Well, you did just say you're editing 20 podcasts, so honestly, I don't blame you.
Yeah, you got to quit something, man.
Yeah. 3 years ago, it was the cigarettes. Now it's podcasts.
There's a correlation there.
There's a correlation.
Blue, tell us about yourself.
Well, my resume is getting extremely dated at this point. I guess at this point I'm a former streamer, former podcast host, and really kind of, I don't know. Am I an infamous Twitter guy now? Like, is that?
I think that's your claim to
I
fame
would
now.
say-
I think that's it.
You seem to me more a man on the town.
A man. I mean, I like
Yeah.
the title.
Yeah, I would say that is now your new resume title. It's like, what are you? I'm a man on the town.
I'm a man about town.
Yeah.
I'm Better Off Blue. Formerly, I'm the Blue Ranger. I did stuff and saw things, and it was fun. And now I play way too many video games. And that's really what it comes down to. But no, I streamed on Twitch for many years and saw a lot of success. And that's where I met Cyborg and AER0KNIGHT when I was part of one of their Fight the Flood streams. And if you've listened to the show for a long time, hello again. I've been on a whole bunch. I think we were talking beforehand. I think this is my 17th time on the show.
You said 18 earlier.
18?
You said 18 earlier.
One of those.
Somewhere in there.
I still think I hold the title for most guest appearances on this show.
You're the Steve Martin of this show.
But I haven't been on in over a year, so it's been a bit. So
Has it been that long?
Not since Forsaken, so it's been over a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's okay, and that's because I kind of deserve it. I can be pretty harsh on the Twitterverse there, so I kind of dug my own grave,
If we want to keep getting our Bungie checks, I got to keep these spread out.
So
has your Bungie check cleared this month?
Since we'll get into that after.
Okay.
No, just kidding. It said what I read was that it was getting reversed, and then Steam was gonna. I don't know. There was a whole thing.
Flip it and reverse it. The whole thing.
Yeah, I'm just joking though. Yeah. So we've got Podcastaholic and Critic at Large on the show this week, and
Critic at I thought Man About Town.
Man About Town.
I had to spin it,
We already spun it. All right, fine.
All right.
It's my job.
Critic at Large.
We're gonna Critic at Large. We're gonna talk Destiny Shadowkeep a lot this week because there's an absurd amount of new stuff to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're gonna do our best to cover the greatest hits there. But first, we're gonna do a couple of things. We've got a quick announcement. And then we're going to cover some quick news because obviously things happen this week. And then we're going to just delve right in, right?
Yeah.
Ready? All right. So quick announcement. Last week, I impromptu decided that if you ate a moon pie and sent us a picture, you had an opportunity to win a Moonsters emblem. And I'm so proud of all my little jade rabbits that ate their moon pies on release day. But we do have a winner, and that is, forgive me because I don't know how to pronounce it. I want to say Seijuro, Seijuro 2012. You've won a Moonsters emblem. I'm gonna slide into those DMs and get you that code because the Moonsters.
How many moon pies were consumed?
I ate at least a box.
Yeah. How many are in a box?
We had, maybe 6. I don't know. I just kept eating them. They were good. I mean, I went into that sugar caffeine fervor launch week and let me tell you, by Thursday, I literally felt like I was going to die.
By Thursday, you're just like, I need a banana. Banana.
Yeah, I
Someone
was like,
give me a banana.
I need a banana moon pie.
Food. Basically, yeah.
Oh my God.
I really didn't take very good care of myself. PSA, don't do what I do on launch days. So I crashed pretty hard, and Friday I was recovering.
Oh my God. They make a double-decker moon pie. Sorry, I'm doing side research.
Shut up. What? That's amazing. But congrats for winning, and thank you to everyone who participated in that fun activity. Now we're going to do some news. And Dan has agreed to take this segment over for me this week, and I'm so thankful.
Yeah, you're welcome. We're just doing the TWAB, right? Agreed, TWAB?
Well, and whatever other new... Yeah, pretty much.
Whatever else.
And then I think we had a world's first winner, right?
Yeah, we did.
We got to cover that.
Yeah.
So, the floor is yours, sir.
So this week at Bungie, there really wasn't a lot going on. Last week we kind of got the the week prior we got like the whole Tolstoy novel, and then this time we it was Hemingway, short and sweet, to the point. You didn't need to know too much else. The world first completion happened on Saturday, on September 5th. Team Ascend won, which good on them. I hear that their entire run, it seemed like, went pretty smooth, and they were very calm with one another, and they communicated well, and I'm sure that played into their win. But the contest modifier...
I haven't watched any of that, but I heard that as a whole, that the players, they were just like assassins. Yeah. Like really just dreadfully good.
That's what I keep hearing. Well, I watched a little bit of it. I didn't watch all of it because that's like 5 hours of raid, and I get raid brain just watching it. But they communicated really well. I was also watching the DCP raid race here and there, and just them flipping through different folks. I won't say anything else, but holy cow, man. There was a lot of anger on the field that day. And so, so the contest modifier was active for the first 24 hours. This led to a little bit, I just covered this on Destiny Digest before jumping in here. This led to a little bit of weird inconsistency, I would say, as there was some chop on Sunday morning, which led to some players in the raid race, or in the 24-hour completion, getting booted back to screen. So Bungie extended the time by 2 hours.
This has proved controversial.
Yeah, without the contest modifier for the last 2 hours, but you still got the 24-hour emblem, and Dado's responses.
Oh yeah,
just face kissing hand emoji, because he's like, 2 hours. It's basically 2 hours is longer than 2 minutes. I want an emblem, please.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, at this point, like after all the heat the guy's gotten,
just give it to him. Just give it to him. He'll never take it off. It's fine.
Yeah.
But so that was the big thing. Other than that, there's really not a lot of news outside of just people took the week off from work and just played a video game for a long period of time.
People took a lot of time off Tuesday to sit in queues.
Yeah.
I was one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. How was that day spent?
What did I do? I mean, I just sat around and shot the stuff with my friends. Yeah. To be honest.
Yeah.
I played Super Nintendo on my Switch for a little while, and hung out with my kids back and forth in between waiting, and I just got a bird time. My wife was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "We can't
do anything. Can't get in.
Can't do anything.
Can't get in. The house is there. I see it. It's across the street. Can't get in.
Let me in.
Let me in. There's a line of like 100,000 other people outside that house. Can't get in.
Yeah. Oh, you know what we did do? That's what we ended up doing. We had a viewing party, and we watched Mean Girls. That's what we did.
Oh, okay.
That's
I don't know
delightful.
Why that particular movie. It just, we were talking about it, and I was like, why don't we watch it? And we're like, okay. So I queued it up, and we did a viewing party, and
was it because
we got to the end by the time we got into the game?
There is a parallel universe where Shadowkeep came out on October 8th, or October 3rd. That's
Yeah.
the date.
It's October 3rd.
October 3rd.
Right. Yep. That came up when.
And Lindsay
when,
Lohan
that
was the
dated
voice
it.
of Eris.
Oh my
Holy cow.
gosh.
Yeah.
What is this reality?
It's an alternate reality. You can't control it.
Wow. I need to be there. But yeah, what did you guys do? Did you guys end up being in a queue? Did you wait or did you play that night?
I got like crazy lucky. After I unpacked the game that I preloaded a week in advance, thanks Steam. After I waited for that, I actually got in maybe 5 minutes in a queue, and then I got in and I had no issues. But then some of my friends were having issues where they were getting in but getting kicked over and over again. And so I was like, well, maybe if you connect to me, you'll get through. And then I was starting to have issues. So I stopped playing with them. I was like, no, screw you guys. I'm going to go play. And we just continued going. And finally it was me and one of my other friends were having no trouble. And then he got kicked right at the end of the strike, which I was doing for the first time. And I had a sword, a sniper, and a bow thinking, we can two-man this. This will be fine. Then he's gone. And I'm trying to bow a boss 12 levels under what I needed to be, and I'm like, maybe it's time for me to take a break and figure this out. So but I have a relatively large life event coming up that's got a lot of other planning that's involved, so I was able to step away from gaming to go take care of some of that stuff.
Yeah.
So that was nice. And then when I came back from that, everyone had caught up to where I was. All the people who couldn't get in were able to get in about an hour before I got back, and they caught up to me, and we had a relatively good rest of the night with little error every now and then, but mostly tower related.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Dan?
I worked. I didn't take that day off because I figured everybody would be standing around on the line. And I was right.
Oh, look
You're
at
right.
this guy being rational.
I've just seen like the last ever since Wrath of the Machine. Or ever since Rise of Iron, haven't taken that day off because of what Rise of Iron taught me that day. And that
it's funny considering Rise of Iron was probably the worst until this launch. Like they really ironed out a lot of that stuff, but
Forsaken
there were so
was
many
great.
different things happening concurrently with this launch that
still don't trust it. I still didn't trust it. I still won't trust it. It's just in my nature.
No, man. You're probably wise to feel that way.
Yeah. Then my car broke down.
Eventually,
And I dealt
got
with that
in.
the rest of the day.
Oh, yeah. That stinks, man.
So it goes.
Once I did get in, I had issues with the first mission. We kept running into... There's like two different places where there should be a queue for a voice line and enemies to show up, and in the first spot the mission would crash and we would guitar at the same spot 3 times in a row. So we got off PC and we swapped to Xbox, and everything seemed to be going okay. And then there's another spot where you go into the dark cave, and it was crashing there because it was not queuing up the enemies or the voice lines or anything. You would just go down there and nothing would happen, and then the game would crash. So then we realized like we had to split up, and the mission would run fine. So then we finish it, or one of my friends couldn't get it to load, so I got it to load properly. I was like, okay, join on me. So we finished the mission. He goes to pick up the next step quest, like the next quest step from Eris. And I'm like, oh, there's a quest step? I can't get it. So I log out, log back in. I have to redo the entire mission again. Like banging my head against the wall. It took me 3 hours to get through the first mission.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
wasn't
it's
great.
weird because that first mission is so new and dynamic and different from pretty much anything else they've ever put in the game.
Yeah.
And I love that. But it's like, at the
really
same
long.
time, for the launch day, it seems like, why would you do this? This is because there's so many networking things that have to happen to make that first mission play right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, what was your? I asked this on PD yesterday. That was kind of like my first question to the group.
Mhm.
But what was your first reaction coming over that hill and seeing the tip of that triangle?
Oh man, spoiler warning. First of all, if you're listening to this,
If you're listening to a podcast, you should expect spoilers.
Yeah, pure spoilers from here on out.
Yeah.
I just
Man.
can't believe Cade died.
Again. And so comically,
they keep bringing it up.
it's
The Hunter
over. Just let
Vanguard's
the man
dead.
die.
Oh,
like they just totally Samuel L. Jacksoned him from that one movie with the shark. Like he just came back and he's like, "Hey guys, look at me, I'm Cade 7," and he backed up on that cliff and that triangle just ate him in half. It was crazy.
oh my god!
Baby shark, baby shark. Yeah.
What's
So
happening?
seeing the triangle, I had a suspicion, that there would be some darkness that we would find, but I really didn't totally expect to see a straight up tetrahedron
Yeah.
ship in the dark below. So I was like, I literally was like, oh my God. And we're all just like, wow, this is real. This is happening. What did you think, Blue?
I thought that too, but I guess there's a little bit of me that my response was a little more. I'm the cynical one of the group. Okay, we've accepted this. I think my response was more along the lines of finally. But shortly after that, Crota is here, and that made me go, "Whoa!" Okay,
Right?
like that was
Yeah.
where I was kind of caught a little bit, and then all of a sudden everything's spawning in, and I'm just, what's happening?
Yeah.
And so that's where I got. The triangles, I was excited to see them, but was definitely more of like about time. Because now, to me, I think like Uldren is in this story realm that we finished with Forsaken, and what's happening with that? Well, we'll find out someday, that's the new triangles. The old triangles were the triangles, and we finally getting some answers
new
with the triangles.
triangles.
And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
finally, we've had this whole other story arc, and we're getting back to this. Thank you. So,
Well, Bungie has been smart about what people do really well in TV now, which is opening loops. You close a loop, you got to open 2 new loops so that people stay engaged. There's always got to be unanswered mysteries and questions, right?
Right.
and that cat slapped its hand on top of the hood of that expansion and said, "This baby can fit so many loops in it."
Pretty much. This
R.I.P.
baby
Loop
can
Cat.
open so many plot threads. Yup. All right, so we're gonna get into the news is over. We're gonna get into
Really?
yeah, we're gonna get into
So
all
saith
kinds of fun that
Dictator
we've had this
Cyborg.
week. Yep, and I'm gonna we're gonna talk story
News
first
is
since that was a
done.
great segue.
News has finished. We move
Oh,
on
you
now.
know what? We gotta give a shout out though. In the news today, Husky Raiders put out what may be the final dance video
Yeah,
on the moon.
That's what Mega says at the end.
That's what he says.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
I mean, it probably is.
It might be, yeah.
knowing
It
knowing
might really
him
be.
and knowing how busy everybody that's in that group has been.
Yeah.
That
makes sense.
understandable. Life moves on. Life
It does.
finds a way.
But there's still time to dance,
Yeah.
and thus they do
Also-
for 9 minutes of glory.
Glad, Chevy, and Modern Tryhard have already 3-manned the entire raid. The entire Garden of Salvation
It's
raid.
people like this that make me feel so inadequate.
Yeah.
That I wish they would stop, please.
Right?
Stop,
It's
stop
crazy.
being so much better at the game than me. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm looking forward to the TWAB because I think the movie of the week is probably going to be the most thrilling bit of information for me personally.
There'll probably be a movie of the week and like 3 honorable mentions.
Probably.
I expect
I'm
this week.
I'm betting that Husky Raid gets it though.
I think they will,
Yeah.
but I think there will be some notable honorable mentions.
Stiff competition.
Yup. And then of course, like we had Bife's
Yeah, the 4-hour
4-hour long lore-tastic video that could still be up there.
Yeah.
So tough competition this week.
My dad just
All right,
watched
now
it
the
and he
news.
started following it like a religion. So
My dad now worships the darkness. I don't understand.
He's like
what's
hanging
happening.
Halloween ornaments up and calling them Savathun.
Yeah.
Like
that's what my dad does.
this is all Rush. He walks in front of it.
I come over, my dad's just jamming Rush and worshiping Savathun. I don't understand, man. It's weird. He's like, but son, the sword logic. Dad, no.
Dad.
He's got a bucket full of worms, and he goes, "These are my children now." Like,
You can take your sword logic. I'm going to take the bomb logic, and we'll see who wins out.
oh
That's
god,
right.
looks like you brought a bomb to a sword fight.
New
meanwhile,
t-shirt idea.
Callus
New t-shirt idea.
laughs joyously.
All right, let's vote
All
for
right.
it. Derp fan,
So-
let us know.
Yep. I'll open a poll.
Looks like
see
you
who's
brought-
gonna win there.
It's just losing it.
Spit it out, Jan.
I love it so much. I love you guys.
Oh man.
All right. So the obligatory, gentlemen, how was your reset?
Meh.
It was all right. Another slow weekend.
That was fantastic. Are you kidding me?
Dead game.
I was so confused.
Sensed.
I was so confused about what to do.
Oh, I know. A lot going on at once.
Yeah.
A lot to
Yeah.
do. That was the tough thing. Like, I feel like this when they have the major expansions, there's so much happening at once and so many activities you're introduced that I find myself like scrolling through menus with a little bit of paralysis.
Yeah.
Just kind of being like, okay, what do I do next? I don't know. Okay, I could do this, but wait, should I do that? And do I do this together? And you're always trying to optimize your time, you know?
Just like maybe your eyes are a little crossed, a little unfocused.
Yup. Mm-hmm.
I know those feels. I did that
Yep.
the day it launched. I was just like, there's so many, like, instead of there's so much room for activities, it's just like, there's just so many activities. What am
There's so many activities
like,
for this room.
what am I gonna, like, where do I start? And then I was like, okay, story. And then,
Yeah.
like, I got to a point where I couldn't progress the story any further because my character was too underleveled, and I was like, and just, like, became paralyzed by FOMO looking at my quest screen.
Yeah.
It was nuts. I now have a
yeah.
notebook next to my computer that I write down what I'm going to do for the day, which has actually helped
That's
quite
smart.
a bit.
Yeah. Help prioritize things a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah. I feel like I've had a lot of fun. Just pure fun. There's things in Destiny that feel like work sometimes. Because let's face it,
for
like
sure.
this game is addictive and you do things for the sake of the grind sometimes.
Right.
I've never done that.
Okay. But I feel like everything that I did this week was very enjoyable. The campaign was pretty fun, had some really unique and cool stuff going on. It didn't rely too much on nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. You know,
Right.
Destiny kind of does that sometimes. This week I felt like you're just like, no, we're back in the moon, but you know, there's like a whole different thing going on and we're here for a reason and everything looks cool and we can remember some of this stuff, but really you need to check this out because like there's these nightmare guys. Bad news. So I kind of enjoyed that aspect of like going back to
Watch out. There's nightmares
Watch
now.
out. Nightmares.
I'm waiting for the expansion where the little demon-eyed jade rabbits get all the rice cakes, and they just they march on
broke me.
they march on the tower. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of
But
tiny
for
rabbits.
real, those things are. If you went into this expansion with low self-esteem, well, good luck getting out. Those things, you lack something. And then what was the other one? I found some.
There's an orb or something.
There's some orb that I posted that was like.
I think it says
you're not worthy or something.
It says you stand unworthy.
You stand unworthy. And I was like, between this thing and the rabbits, I just can't do this anymore.
What if
you guys killed what little self-esteem I'd built up, and it's all gone?
What if the key to that puzzle was to use a sit emoji?
Somebody posted that, and that really made me laugh. And they said, "Well, I tried it; it didn't work."
Oh my gosh!
Actually, I think they just said they kneeled, so maybe we do need to try this sit emoji.
Hey, there you go.
It just
Would
pops
that
up.
just
You
be
sit worthy.
amazing? Like, you just have to use the right emoji to unlock something.
That
Oh
would
my
be amazing.
gosh.
Would be amazing.
I would love that. Like, the solution is sit.
You just gotta chest bump that statue.
Yeah. You gotta go give it the old double backwards high five, and it'll hook you up, man.
Oh man!
Speaking of emojis, what's your favorite new emoji?
I don't even know.
Certainly you have one, right?
It's got to be the sit. I mean, I picked it up day one. I think it's really the only new one. There was the
one
exotic
that you're
one,
like the
but
exasperated sit.
Yeah.
Like the blue. Yeah, that one's pretty funny.
I wish it
Well,
said
it's kinda
like
like, I give up.
because my name's Blue on Steam. I wish it would be like Blue's had enough of, and I
Right.
wish it said that. But
Blue's getting too old for this stuff.
No, that's you can't complain with a nice sarcastic emote like that.
Yeah,
it's true.
The Eris one is the other one I got, which was pre-order or something.
Yeah, the pre-order
Yeah.
one.
And because
The ding, I have a particular affection for.
Yeah, you're a big fan of the ding.
I do. I like it a lot. And it just goes on forever.
Oh, does
Just
it?
ding until you stop it.
Oh,
Yep.
jeez.
Oh God.
So, there's a world in which I could say, Cyborg, quit your dinging.
It's true.
And then Lindsay
All right.
Lohan as Eris Morn would
Stop
then
trying to
say
make
something.
ding a thing.
Yeah, stop trying to make it a thing.
Who
We were pink on Tuesdays.
what's the guy's name in SNL that plays the principal?
Eris Morn saying we only wear pink on Tuesdays.
He only went. I can't even do it with his straight face. I'm gonna tweet more like Arndana and be like, "Listen, I know this is a really weird request.
This is a weird ass.
I need
but
you
I need you to do this.
Record these Mean Girl quotes."
Also, I need this in the next 45 minutes. I know it's 12:30 in the morning, but
What is the actor on Mean Girls? He plays the principal. He was from SNL. You know who I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about. That is it Tim Meadows?
Tim Meadows. In this universe, Tim Meadows is our ghost.
That would be great.
Oh, God.
I want that. I want that universe right now. Why don't we have this universe?
I'm liking this. I'm liking where we're going with this.
Yeah.
We're gonna recast Destiny with the cast of Mean Girls.
Mean
That's-
Guardians. Oh my
Mean
God.
Guardians.
Oh my
It's
God.
right there.
With the Husky Raid guys out of the way, we've just made $1
I'm
million.
gonna redact this so that
Yeah.
we can retain this intellectual property.
Yeah, copyright.
Yeah.
I said it. That means it's official.
He sent it to himself in the mail. Email.
I did. Yep.
Email specifically.
So Destiny stuff.
Yeah, Destiny stuff. Sorry.
Let's go back
So-
to story.
Okay.
So we can talk about, because it's not a super long campaign, but they did the thing like in Forsaken where they tied in these hunts to extend it out a little bit, which I thought was a clever use of resource
Right.
Yeah.
to kind of give the campaign some girth. But I've read a lot of dissatisfaction online with how the final mission kind of leaves you. What do you guys think about this?
I think it's because people they've expressed that they're trying to tell a story over the course of the next year, right?
Right.
That's probably
Right.
what will be.
And even over the course of the season,
Yeah.
even on that scale.
And so people who are disappointed by the end of the story campaign, I'm sorry, but it's probably not done yet. So, like, chill and stuff. It's probably going to be fine in the long run.
I agree. What do you think, Blue?
So I'm a little torn. And part of this is because I can't help but look at my value proposition on the products that I buy. And this fall, I've purchased Borderlands 3, Monster Hunter World Iceborne, and Destiny 2 Shadowkeep. And Destiny 2 Shadowkeep has the worst value proposition to me. I think that it didn't give as much, and part of that is I think a more complete story would have helped, because the Nightmare Hunts were essentially just old strikes from Destiny 1, just kind of
like halfway
reformatted.
It was like half of the strike.
They're mixed and matched,
right?
Yeah, and then I don't really care for the parts of the fight where they go immune and make you fight waves of ads.
Yeah.
That's a fake mechanic to me. That's a non-mechanic to me. So I don't dislike it, because as much as I'm not a fan of nostalgia baiting, which, as Cyborg said, they're very guilty of in a lot of cases, I don't hate it all the time. And I think that having little touches of it here, that like going through the moon is a lot of fun. There's just no way around that. It is a ton of fun to go back through the moon the first time. Maybe I'm the only one, but Destiny 1, helium filaments were my favorite thing to pick up. They glow and then they shine even more when you pick them up, and it's so much fun. And it's continued in Destiny 2. I don't pick up planetary materials anywhere, but I do it on the moon. And so like the moon's just a fun place to be. So I'm not as bothered by the nostalgia baiting factors in that, but when it comes to these Nightmare Hunts, it's like these are basically enemies I've fought before that they're not really making harder. They're just making the fights longer, artificially longer, and they're calling it story. Yeah. And then when I'm done with that story, they give me an item that I then have to go grind to get to the next step. And it just felt a little underwhelming, I guess, especially since they did leave on a cliffhanger. And the cliffhanger wasn't satisfying. It was a cliffhanger that made me go, I want to watch the next episode of this show now, but I have to wait, and I don't know if it's something that's going to happen now that we've beaten the raid, so it reset tomorrow, something's going to open up, or if it's going to, like they did with the Dreaming City, or what. I
think that's part of the problem is Destiny as a franchise so commonly pulls a thread and leaves it for a long time that leaving the story on that note, you can't get any free faith that, oh, we're going to finish like this aspect of the story this season or even this year. We really don't know that. You know what I mean? Like, they're kind of notorious for pulling a thread and maybe kind of halfway taking you down the road, and then, oh, well, that character he's, you know, they're gone for a while now, or we're done with them, you know. So even though I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt with what's getting set up here, I still don't have a lot of confidence that they're going to answer the questions they left me with in the short term. And kind of that's okay a little bit, because the darkness itself is like the big bad of Destiny, and I don't think they can get away with ever totally just laying it all out there without shooting themselves in the foot over the long term. But they kind of let us down this road, so, you know, you got to do something, you know?
It would have been really cool if, like, say after the raid, the world first team reward is like a cutscene that showed like a continuation from the end of the campaign. Just little morsels here and there, but you know,
and I'm so disclaimer, like, I've started the raid, haven't finished it. I've tried to not see any more than what I've played, but I did run across that there's some things in and towards the end of the raid that thematically tie in to the campaign.
Yeah.
But that's kind of it. So there's that aspect of it. But like you said, I would love to see a follow-up to where we were left off very abruptly at the end of the last cutscene of the campaign, because obviously it was like we're in the Black Garden with some kind of entity that we can't quite put a name or put our finger on, that's masquerading as ourselves, which is weird in and of itself. Like, great cop out, Bungie. Just make them look like us.
Save on resources.
I love that.
Save on
I'm
resources.
sure there's a reason for it. I'm just saying, like, it's convenient because they don't. Here's the thing. Like, if at some point, and probably we will, we actually tangle with a direct darkness race of some kind, colloquially called the Veil by most people now. If we run into them, like, you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot and have to design them now, right?
All right.
So they have to be kind of smart, and I'll give Bungie that. Like, they're always smart about not getting too far ahead of themselves, I think, with stuff like that. But
I really liked the design though with the Taken King, where the story left off with you killing Oryx, and then he comes back in the raid as the Taken King. Like, I liked that evolution between story and the raid, and it was a continuation in itself. And I think that was extremely successful. I think a lot of people would agree that the Taken King was one of the high points of Destiny.
I think that's why it's looked at so fondly, because thematically it was just so tight. Like, the story and the way it played out, and the way that the raid was so intrinsically linked in the lore, made sense to why it did, and why you face him again, in his throne world. Like, it's hard to get that exact combination without just doing the story again. But since then, I think they did a decent job with Forsaken in this and tying things together. But we've had so many occasions where we get a story and then there's a raid that's kind of sort of connected, but not directly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That I think people just want that. Like, they want that experience, like in the Taken King, where you face the bad guy, then you face the big bad guy, and you feel like you vanquished something and you made a difference in the Destiny world, right?
Yeah. I want to feel like I've had that impact. And
honestly,
now, I feel like I might be falling apart at the seams. There's two of me. I don't know what's going on. And if you made a really crazy looking character like I did on my hunter, with like green mohawk and like purple eye paint and stuff, then you're not really threatened by what's happening, but it's still kind of scary.
I've seen horrific pictures of what people looked like in that cutscene this week. Like, some really scary guardians.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
It can be rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to redesign my Guardian. I think this is the perfect time, since everybody starts at 750. I can just take all my gear off, do the story campaign,
you make a new
all
guy
back on. It'll be fun.
And you don't even have to do that, though. If you go into New Light,
what?
You don't have to do. So I was reading about this. A guy was on one of the Destiny subreddits, and he said, I was like taking advantage of this time to roll a new character. And I thought it was great because I could go through the Red War campaign, pick up some of the class exotics for them, that would help me with the new character, et cetera, et cetera. And apparently they've gutted the Red War campaign. Like, they cut out all the quest lines that tie the story together. All the exotics that you get along the quest line are stripped out. They said basically like half the campaign made 0 sense because of stuff that they stripped out.
Really?
I just spoke to a friend who took this week off, and one of their friends who also has this week off picked up the free-to-play version of Destiny. And so he hopped in with them and said, all right, what do you have to do? And he goes, my directive is explore the world. And he goes, okay, well, let's go. What does it say? He goes, go to the EDZ. So they went to the EDZ. He goes, now what? He goes, it just says explore. they had to get online and find out that you had to start the whole thing by going to Amanda Holiday. And he was like, what? She's like off the beaten path in the tower. They literally did the first mission from Destiny and then dropped him in the tower and said, good luck.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm like, oh boy.
Part of the
first light
disconnect as
experience.
well was like doing the Red War campaign. Like you do the first sections where Gaul attacks.
Mhm.
It doesn't do any setup for that. So I don't think there was even like any quest or any cutscene setting that up. They just drop you in the mission.
Wow.
You do that. You go through the whole like leaving the last city and all that. And then you get dropped in the tower and you can go pick up bounties and stuff.
What?
Yeah, man, it makes no sense.
What?
I want to swap. I want to log in on like a different console, or I don't even know how to do it with cross save, but I want to go like start a new character and just like figure out what's going on.
That's what?
It's super weird.
Well,
Super
Doesn't
weird.
sound promising.
yeah. Theoretically, if you have
It sounds like a not great introduction to the game.
theoretically, if you have Shadowkeep though, you should. If you were to start a new character, it would just start at 750, and then
Yes.
you'd just do that first mission. You'd land in the tower, and you can skip all
Yep.
that, so you can just
Yep.
jump into Shadowkeep.
And I get that aspect of it, of if you want to jump in and just immediately play with your friend who was a veteran,
Yeah.
like that's great. You know, you need that to an extent. But like, I don't know. There's two sides
Yeah.
to it. Everything works fine in Warframe,
Yeah.
where shoot, man, people put in like 200 hours before they even know what the heck's going on, you know? And their player base is fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just being like a gatekeeper and elitist, and I shouldn't be.
Look
but
at you, hipster cyborg.
Look at me. Yeah. But back to the story. So I here's the one thing though. The Destiny nerd in me was super enthralled to go into a pyramid,
Right.
a darkness pyramid. That's pretty cool and substantial for the Destiny story.
Yeah. The
It was very creepy,
one of
very eldritch
mhm.
in nature.
one of
you know,
one of the reviews that I saw on Reddit was very interesting in that they were like, it has your ghost. It has like
Yeah.
it has single-handedly it's taken the thing that gives you all your power. You
I think I read this too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's taken that and it's so single-handedly defeated it in this moment. And you're going down hallways in the triangle, but you can't explore. It's leading you down a path that it wants you on.
Yeah.
And that's
Totally in control of the situation.
yeah, completely in control, letting you know that it's in control and what it can do to you if you don't really succumb to it.
Yeah, that's like the like crazy thing about that whole experience is the fact that you're completely powerless.
Yeah.
Like you're just along for that ride, recognize it or not. And it takes like your one connection to the light, your ghost, it totally subverts and takes over, and you're basically like an ant
Mm-hmm.
to this thing. And what's scary is you get sucked into this like hallucination, or you're transferred to the Black Garden, and you see this whole fleet of them and realize just how completely powerless you are against this entity. You know, like after years of fighting the biggest, baddest that the universe has to offer, like in the face of this cosmic power, you're
Yeah.
basically nothing.
Because, and I guess it's kind of like life, right? Everything makes sense story-wise in your timeline. Like you're living your life, you have experiences from your past, triumphs, failures that you just look at in the long haul, and it all tells the story of you. And then a comet comes along and just nukes all that to shreds, right? Like it does.
Life happens,
yeah,
and then something.
It doesn't care. You're just there.
Yeah.
And
But what's interesting, like, there's that aspect of it, but also it wants you to be there.
Yeah.
Like, you are a tool in the plan of this power. Like, you're insignificant, but like my theory about like the essence of the darkness and how it has its way with beings in the universe is everything it presents is a truth and a lie. And so it wants you to feel that you're totally insignificant. But if that's true, why is it dealing with you?
Yeah.
Why does it want to be your salvation? What does it need from you? You know, it's the same thing with in the whole sword logic and how the worms have their pact with the hive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, their lie is that they gave. The truth is that it was a deal in which you couldn't escape. Like, they said, we'll give you the power to have revenge and you'll be able to be as powerful as you want. But the truth is that they could never stop tributing to the worms or they would die. So they were trapped
right
within the deal. So there's always a truth and a lie. And so what's the lie that the darkness is trying to pull over us? Right? That it wants to be our salvation. So what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, why does it need to be our salvation? Like, if we're that insignificant, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Whoa.
Wow, man.
What did we just take? I feel all weird on the inside.
Yeah.
You guys like those?
We just went somewhere.
Yeah.
Like those gummy bears I sent you?
Yeah, dude, they were perfect right before the podcast.
Yep. Overall, though, I thought it was a interesting story in Destiny, like in terms of the subject material. On its own, I see how people are like, oh, I kind of feel like I'm left hanging, because they are trying to do something I feel a little bit different in telling a story through the season and obviously through the year. What I don't know, I have no idea what's going on with the Vex or the Black Garden and why any of it's connected.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody in the game world does either. They're just like, the Black Garden's opening and there's Vex coming and what's happening. And apparently Ikor is building something with Vex parts.
Yeah, you keep getting these chassis.
About. Yeah.
I don't know.
She's like, we need parts to build a thing to stop this. Like, what are you building?
An exosuit.
Are you building a giant Gundam?
This
that would
game
just
is
be
going
awesome.
through a metamorphosis, okay? And we're about to be Mechasalt 2020.
Heck yeah, dude. We got tanks. Why can't we have mechs?
Yeah.
By the way, before I forget, I just have to point this out. You said tanks. It reminded me in the first mission when you jump into tanks. I don't actually like tanks in Destiny. They're too clunky for me. But that section where you're in the tank,
pretty dope.
The music crushes it.
It's
I don't
fun.
know what it is, but that track is skyrocketed to my top. Like, this is the best Destiny music has ever been. I don't know why. Because it's really not all that remarkable, but it struck a chord with me, and I was just like,
it on the soundtrack and see what it is.
Yeah, I gotta find it too, because every time I've played, I've leveled a lot. I've played a lot of Destiny this week. Okay, I don't want to real get into details, but I've played a whole lot, and I've played through that mission now a dozen times, and every time I get to that, I crank it because I'm just like, man, there's something about it.
Yeah.
So I got to call that out because it's so easy to forget little details like the music when we're talking about all the exciting lore and gunplay and new enemies and raids and stuff. I just wanted to give a little shout out to that bit of the music.
Right.
I like all the new music we've gotten.
Yeah.
Splash screen, new splash screen.
Yeah.
It's finally making things a little darker again. You know?
Yeah.
It's getting really bright.
That soundtrack is pretty amazing.
It's good. New ambient music in the tower to match. It's always welcome.
And
change things up a little bit.
I'm jumping around because now music is reminding me of stuff. The new Vex World event on the moon
yes,
is got some of the best world music. It's like it's like 80s horror film music. Right. It's great, but also on the same topic, it's probably the best world event we've ever had, and it's
really cool, man.
Super
like
dope.
That portal opens up, and they just start pouring out of there.
Have you looked up at the portal?
Yeah, dude.
You could see the Black Garden.
That's pretty cool, man.
It's super cool, but the only problem is, and I've been butting heads a little bit with my buddy Furian Art. I'm gonna plug him because he's great. He loves that it's a world event and that this is where people should be coming together and doing these things like on the fly, which I agree with. But as player population falls, which it will, this is not a comment on the game. It's just when new content comes out, there's a spike and then it tapers off. That's just how it is. When player population falls, those things become increasingly more and more difficult. Even now, if I'm not in a fire team, it is luck of the draw if there's enough people to complete one of those.
You can do it on your own.
Not to get all the way through to the Overlord.
Yup.
You've soloed the Overlord.
All the way through all 4 waves.
I don't believe you.
You just got to stand back a little bit, pick off the ads. You just got to take your time. Now, you'll run out of time.
It's a timed
I've
event.
run out of time several times, but one time, what was it? Today is Monday. Saturday night, I did it alone because I was in the events and I wanted to get to the Overlord and nobody was in the zone. It's like, I'm going to do this. So yeah, I did it. But if you die, they also disappear if you're on your own.
So it's to me, my thoughts are this is why they started doing things like Menagerie and the Forges and the Vex Offensive where you queue into them. He was saying, well, that pulls people out of the worlds, and I don't disagree, but then you're guaranteed people to do these activities with. So it's kind of like, damned if you do, damned if you don't, because I want it to be a world event, but someday I'm assuming it's going to be kind of like a curse week kind of thing where this doesn't always happen.
Right.
It's a rotating thing, but when it is up, if you're like behind in content or you're a new player, it's going to be a struggle to find people to actually participate in that. And
well, here's the thing, from what I understand, these aren't going to go away, so every week it's going to still be going on, I expect, because there is something on the content calendar about this, but then at the end of the season, they're going to completely go away. Along with Vex Offensive.
Interesting. Well, did you notice that I'm a title fiend. I love titles. I'm chasing them hard. And the Undying title, a lot of it can only be done this season, which is, with the exception of Moments of Triumph title, I think that's the first one we've seen that if you don't get this title during the season. Now, it's not a super difficult title to get. It's just a lot of grinding. But it's limited to this season. And I saw that and went, whoa. Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of that is Vex Offensive stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's like a couple other things like kill enemies with certain abilities and stuff like that. But most of it's Vex Offensive stuff. So yeah, I mean, that is unfortunate because that was one of my biggest worries going into this new year when they announced that stuff was going to be limited, because over the past year, like a lot of the titles that I completed, I did so after that season was over.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Because it just took me time, like, to get through the different difficult challenges or to be caught up with things and have the extra time to put towards a specific challenge or whatever it was. So yeah, that's going to be tricky to balance, to get done before January or whatever, when the new season starts.
They did do something that I appreciate. So it's a blessing and a curse as a title fiend. Like I said, I love titles, and you're right. I'm working on Blacksmith right now, and that was almost a year ago. Well, no, that's not true, but it was 10 months ago, 8 months ago that content was fresh, and I'm just now going back to it because I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus because I don't want anyone to get in trouble, but I joined an LFG team for Scourge of the Raid.
Throw 'em.
You know, people are doing that raid in like 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I didn't know that, and I just jumped in to do a raid, and next thing I know, I've done all 3 characters, and it's been 33 minutes, and I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank you, I guess. Bye-bye, because I still don't have threat level,
Right.
which is just fun. But so I like going back and doing these things because it's fun to chase. And one of the things that they did with the new titles, which there's 3 new titles, and that's not overwhelming enough for me.
No, not at all.
But one of the things that I've always felt is that there should be a title called something like Undying wouldn't work because that's a different title, but Flawless, where they put the flawless raids in there or something like that, where you get it for completing X number of activities flawlessly, because it is very difficult for even someone like me with a lot of friends who play to get together a team that's dedicated enough to do flawless things. And in this situation, there appears to be one title that has flawless stuff in it, and then the 2 other titles are things you can grind out without being a top tier PvE player.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. It shows a level of accessibility. I have friends who are good players, and Moments of Triumph was their first title. And I went, how is that a thing? Like, because so many of the other easier quote unquote titles to get were based on RNG before. So a lot of people didn't want to grind that stuff. So it's nice to see something that you can get just by playing. It's a little frustrating that it's specific to just this season, but it's nice to know that you can get the Undying title without going flawless and without being like some sort of PvE or PvP king.
Right.
You just put the time in and you'll get it. That is very nice. I don't really know where I started with all of this, but I'm really thankful for these titles. All right, rant over.
There we go.
I kind of derailed a little at the end there, I think. But
one of the things I found that was kind of tricky, because people were discussing the new titles and how they didn't believe there was a flawless required for the Garden of Salvation Triumph, but it's a little misleading because there is a shader that you can only get from flawlessing the raid that you have to have as part of the collections. So it's like they included it, but not directly.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yep. There's also like, I was looking at the, which title is it? I want to say maybe is it the Shadowkeep? Both the Shadowkeep and I think the Undying title both have, one of them, they have activities like there's a triumph to do the new Nightfall, the Ordeal on Master difficulty, which is not going to be super easy because that's at 980. And then there's a Shadowkeep Nightmare Hunt complete at Master difficulty. So bar is still going to be a little high.
Yeah.
It's not going to be impossible for some of these, but kind of segueing into that, what do you guys think about these new challenge levels for the Nightfall and the Nightmare Hunts that are introducing? Like, you've got 4 different difficulty levels that kind of ratchet things up.
I think they're cool. I just having the thing is that like it's kind of Pavlovian about how we've been able to accrue power and how we've been able to encounter these experiences in the past, and then to kind of make this shift over to like, now we're going to ratchet it all up and change things pretty dramatically in how you achieve that power and so forth. I get really confused and lost in the weeds with it. So I haven't even attempted anything higher than a regular Nightmare Hunt right now.
Yeah, well, so the Nightmare Hunts don't get the new difficulty until this coming week, I believe. Okay. I think they introduced maybe I don't remember the difficulty tiers. So we've got Adept, Hero, Legend, Master. So I think we get Hero.
Okay.
On Nightmare Hunts this week. But you can do all the different difficulties on the Nightmare. I haven't even tried anything but the Adept because that wasn't really where I was spending my time this week. It is kind of cool that you can get better and more rare rewards as you go through these.
Yeah.
I do like that aspect. And, the 100K Nightfall, that's going to be one of the few rare sources of pinnacle gear, which is what you need above 950.
Right.
So I was super confused getting into this about like, okay, there's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 powerful rewards now. What is legendary gear? Like they totally changed everything, but I do feel they've done a way better job of labeling things that they've never done before. Because I've always had this huge complaint about it's not in the game. You need the information in the game. And they have at least said, okay, hey, this reward, like here's a label. It says like this is a higher tiered reward than this other reward.
Right.
Yeah.
So at least going into it, oh, well, this is going to give me the best gain. I should do this now, or I should save this or whatever, right? I like that.
Right.
No, I think they did a good job with that. My only comment on the Nightfall thing is loot broke 2 out of 10. You can't get loot from it.
Oh,
You can only
It's
get
just
loot from the
materials,
100,000
right?
right now.
well, you can get loot. Like you'll get strike drops. Like, so every time I've done the Adept Nightfall, I had the strike specific loot. I got 2 Masterwork Silicon Neuromas at level both times I did it. So obviously that's not the same loot that you're talking about.
Right.
There's the powerful loot's not dropping from Nightfalls, even if you get all 5 points.
Oh, so that's broken?
Yeah, that's broken.
So if you
it's
fill that
actually
bar,
broken, yeah.
You don't get the powerful drop.
Not at the time of recording this podcast. No.
Oh,
They are doing a hot
interesting.
fix tomorrow, so who knows what's in that.
Okay.
That might be different, but I definitely took the time to punch out the 3 Nightfalls to get the 5 done because I was the only one high enough to do the hero rank because I play too much Destiny. And I don't want to talk about it.
Why don't you
Feel
go ahead
very
and tell
self-conscious
the
about my time in
listeners what
Destiny.
your power level is?
I don't want to talk
I
about
don't know why, but I want
Yeah.
a chicken sandwich right now. Just non sequitur. I don't know what it was about that voice, but it was just like, home?
So, we talking Popeyes or Chick-fil-A?
Look,
Oh, boy.
look, man. That's a debate for the ages. I've yet to try.
Oh, Lord.
I'm going to say Wendy's. Off the dollar menu.
Oh, yeah. Wendy's is pretty
Viable.
I never
chicken
ever
sandwich.
do this, but I went. I go to McDonald's a lot, but I don't ever try stuff on the menu because it's McDonald's. But they had the spicy chicken sandwich on there, and I was like, people talking good things about spicy chicken sandwiches in the fast food world. Let me
Fast
try this
food
thing
world.
out, and it looked great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I ordered it, and it did not look like the
great.
picture. And I took one bite of it and went, yeah, this is elementary school chicken patty with barbecue or like hot barbecue sauce on it or something.
Oh, no.
No, I don't. Maybe these other companies are doing it right, but McDonald's is just trying to get on a trend and it ain't working.
Dude,
So skip
Yeah.
that
Wendy's 100%. Skip everything else. Wendy's 100%.
Wendy's, yeah, they have some good chicken sandwiches.
been doing it
man.
right
they
for
have
years.
one.
Before
I don't remember what it's called.
Chick-fil-A,
but It's
before
Yeah.
they had one that was like a dill pickle. I'm sorry. We're off topic. But they had one with a dill pickle.
No.
on it. It was really
food
good.
is important. Yeah.
one. My only memory of Wendy's that matters is when me and Cyborg went to Wendy's at Guardian Con and they gave him a Frosty in a was it a coffee cup with a lid and you had to suck it out of the coffee lid.
I forgot about that.
I thought you were going to say
Oh, that Wendy's
Anyway.
trip was something, wasn't it?
I thought you were going to say a to-go bag, and I was like, that sounds about right.
Yeah, they filled it to go back.
They just filled a paper bag full of Frosty.
Gross. Ugh. What other cool activities we got? Vex Offensive.
That is super fun.
I've had a blast,
Yeah.
but I haven't done it as many times as Blue has here, we're discoursing about this on Twitter today.
Okay.
A little bit.
So I've done it maybe like 5 runs or something, and I thought it was super fun because I think I was coming out of the raid where everything was super intense, mechanic heavy, and just going in there, throwing on whatever guns, putting on the mods that, you've got to use is kind of cool because you're getting to use those mods for something specific, for the what they call them, overload champions. And
right.
What was what's the other one called? Barrier champions. Yeah. So getting to use that, but then just going in there, just shooting stuff.
Yeah.
There's like some raid light type mechanics, kind of similar to Menagerie and other things we play.
Yeah.
And then you just go kill a boss. It was fun.
Yeah. It's like 20 minutes, like 15, 20 minutes max.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Not
as long as the Menagerie.
Right.
I think. If it is, it doesn't feel as long.
It's a nice little filler
Put
activity
it that way.
because from my experiences when I was running it, you get chests, you get 3 different chests, right? And you get a ton of stuff out of those chests.
Yeah, you get like two or 3 legendaries and then some blues.
Yeah.
So there's just a bunch of stuff coming out.
And some of those are at light, some of those can boost
Mm-hmm.
some, like your pockets where maybe you're not collecting as much, or you're not collecting that light level highness.
It's great. Yeah, it's great if you need to fill out some gear.
Yeah.
Like to drop, if you just need stuff to drop at your light to give you some more at level gear, that's where you need to go.
Yeah.
I would say.
I got some pants today that look pretty spiffy that were at like 9-10.
Yeah. Blue, what do you think of Vex Offensive, man?
I think everything you guys just said is 100% accurate, and I agree with everything. And I'm not being sarcastic. I'm being serious. There's a caveat.
Yeah.
And that is that I've played it about 15 times now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, okay, fine, I'll get it out of the way. I'm 957 light. Okay. Like, I'm up there. And I can thoroughly see, first off, the mechanics get very, very old.
Yeah.
Because it's basically mechanic A, mechanic B, mechanic C, go to the next room.
Again.
Mechanic A, mechanic B, mechanic C, go to the next room. And then you get to the final room, which is a boss fight, which is mechanic A, damage, mechanic A, damage. And I can already tell that when everyone's at max light, that final room's going to be a joke. And a lot of people have been firing back at me. Well, it's a beautiful location. It's exciting.
True.
It gives lots of loot. All those things are accurate. It is gorgeous. It's a dynamic area. Like, I've climbed as high as the game will let me climb in pretty much every room that they'll let me climb in because it's super fun to do. And it's a 6-player activity that really does not require 6 people.
No.
So if you want to just fart around, you can do it. But to me, it's very rewarding. It'll especially once you've unlocked the weapons from the bounties that AER0KNIGHT gives you, they will just rain from the sky. You'll get, there is no Menagerie style running back and forth to get as many drops as you can after a run. You're going to probably get 3 of the scout rifle in a single run anyway.
Yeah.
So it is very rewarding, but unless a god roll meta item shows up in that loot pool, I genuinely believe that once we've hit max light,
forgotten,
with the exception of people grinding out titles and things, no one's going to go there ever for any reason, because you can't pick the loot that you get except for by doing the bounties from AER0KNIGHT. But again, that means that it has to be loot worth grinding for, which I haven't quite seen yet. Mm-hmm. I've heard people say good things about the weapons, but it's early in the content. You hear that about pretty much everything that drops. So I just don't see it being as interesting as Menagerie, where Menagerie had like 7 different rooms and you would do 3 and then a boss fight that rotated, and then they offered up this flawless thing that would, and the heroic version would give swords, and there was so much dynamic change every single week in Menagerie. From the outside, if you don't care about Menagerie, you'll think, well, they're pretty much the same thing. And I can see that point of view. But when you really played Menagerie, which I did, then you would know that there's actually a lot going on there. And there was rooms in that, like the, I can't remember the name of the one room, but it was like impossible. The Mockery. It was like impossible. Yeah. I mean, it was so difficult. Whereas this right now it's kind of just vanilla. It's easy. It's not difficult, and that's all fine. But I just don't see anyone being like, "Hey, you know what I want to do on Saturday? Get 5 friends together and do Vex Offensive from sun up to sundown." No one's gonna do that unless
nobody did that. For
Reset
Menagerie.
comes next week, and they blow my mind by going, "Now, boom, we're not in the Black Garden, we're on the moon, and this is the new boss." And unless they really start introducing some really cool stuff, which they could, and I hope they do, it's gonna get stale very quickly.
Yeah.
Well, I have a feeling that there is going to be rotating bosses.
Yeah,
if there's not, I'm going to be surprised.
Yeah.
There could even be different mechanics. We don't totally know, but I'm not expecting that. I am wondering if there's going to be some different weapons that rotate week to week.
I do expect that.
I haven't
too.
checked the collections, but that would be likely. And I think that they looked at the feedback from Menagerie and that we want to be able to farm cool weapons that we want and get the rolls that we want on them. And this makes that aspect. They're like, hey, you want loot? Oh, you got loot. Like,
for sure.
Because they just make it rain. And this is
and
an
if
activity
you
where
only
you can go
want
in.
the scout, unlock the scout and nothing else. And that scout is all that'll drop for the rest of the week, as far as I can tell. So if for some reason, like, let's say the hand cannon is a 180, a lot of people like 180 hand cannons. If that gun ends up having a meta roll, a couple weeks down the line when the PvPers have figured it out, then I can see people grinding that because it's a super easy way to farm a weapon. 100%.
Well, you don't have to unlock anything. You just go in and you can get everything that's available can drop.
I'm pretty sure
you don't have. There's no prerequisite
won't drop
to those
until
weapons.
you unlock them.
Nope.
Really?
Yep. I did not complete any of the weapons and went in on my first one, and I got 3 out of the 4. And on my next run, I got the 4th one.
Yeah.
So I have multiple copies of every weapon. The difference, though, is that if you want to go after a particular weapon, you can pick up the bounty for it. Basically just shoot enemies with that weapon type and turn it in. Bam, you got the weapon.
So
I had such an oddly specific thing happen to me then, because I got no weapons until I finished the SMG because Recluse still OP.
Right.
I finished the SMG, and then the next run I got like 4 SMGs and nothing else. So I assumed that you had to unlock them. Yeah, that's super weird. Okay.
Weird, yeah.
Bad intel from Blue. My bad.
So I'm looking. I'm looking at Destiny sets right now, and those are the only 4 weapons for that.
Those are the only those 4.
Those 4 in that suite.
Wow. I was really hoping for a reskin Perfect Paradox too, because that's what these are. These are Curse of Osiris weapons reskin.
Oh, we know.
It's aged a little bit.
Oh, we know.
They're really pretty though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love the.
You know how they cover that reskin up, don't you? Just slap some leaves on them.
Slap
some
leaves.
Everything's real leafy, man.
Slap some leaves on it.
It's leaf. Season of the leaves.
Yeah.
Season of the foliage.
Title of the
Season
episode:
foliage.
Season of the Leaves.
That's right.
Yeah. Hey, that's the name of the show.
Well, I like it. I totally agree that it could have questionable staying power.
Yeah.
But
and that's all I'm saying.
I think that they inherently are understanding that. Like there's a desire for wave-based activities, but I think they're acknowledging that if they overinvest in that, they're overinvesting into something that inherently becomes defunct by the next thing.
Very true.
So this is like, hey, we're going to create it, but this is the stripped down version and it's going to go away. So get it while it's hot, get the weapons that you want. If you're the Triumph Hunter, do the Triumphs while it's here. after you get what you want, you get the armor, you've done everything you want. All right, cool. Like, because it's going to be gone. No harm, no foul. Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I haven't seen any announcement of any heroic version of that. So this is pretty much, I think, what we're going to get on that front.
And so it's going to be great for leveling. And then
absolutely.
That's probably going to be about it.
But
unless, like I said, one of the weapons becomes meta.
But then it's going to go away.
And there'll probably be some good rolls,
It's going to go away.
Yeah, and you're going to want to get, like, you're going to want to realize, like, get that awesome weapon on that, awesome roll on that pulse or scout while it's here, because then you won't be able to get it for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, they have said there will be other routes to get specifically weapons again at some point, but it could be a while. So it's just get it while it's hot.
Well, no, that's what the lectern is for, is to get the weapons that you want directly.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Well, to reroll stuff. I mean, it's another version of Black Armory mechanics,
also,
right?
This is such a side note, but I have to throw it out there while I have a listening audience. My real world job is designing, building, and selling lecterns. And that is not a lectern. And when they were like, go and inspect the lectern, I was like, excuse me?
All right, but you got to pay me.
I am personally offended. Right? I am personally offended
by
this
time
relatable
you could
content.
have called me for my professional expertise, and this is where you fail.
Bungie, you just real quick phone call. I could have told you that's not a lectern. We could have moved on with this, but now we got a problem.
Yeah, it could have been just a quick trip up to Washington.
The thing is, though, if you asked me what a lectern looks like, heck if I know, man. I don't know what a lectern is. Like, I have an idea in my mind, but it could be totally wrong.
You know exactly what a lectern is, but everyone calls it by the wrong name.
A pulpit.
Yeah.
Everyone calls them podiums.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you want to sound, this is your tip of the week. You stand on a podium. You stand behind a lectern.
Oh, now I feel smarter.
There you go.
There you go.
Destiny talk.
I like it.
I'm going to call you Lectern Daddy from now on.
Lectern Daddy.
I was not expecting that.
You're welcome.
I've gotten a few names tonight. All right.
This week I'm joined by Senor Chicken Sandwich and Lectern Daddy. Wendy's Fan 09 and Lectern Daddy.
Wendy's Fan 09.
I'll take it.
It's like a Wendy's forum username.
Can we put a filter over Dan's voice through the whole podcast that makes him sound like he's coming through a drive-through?
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Oh God.
Hey, what about the new strikes? What do you guys think of the new strikes?
They're super cool.
Man, the environments are awesome.
And you get to carry worms.
Well, that's not technically new.
Okay.
But it might be new to you.
It's new to me. I
haven't even done that one yet.
I haven't done that one yet.
But I know what you're talking about.
I didn't even know.
What's the name of it?
I don't know.
It's from Forsaken. I know the content matter. I know that it has to do
you guys
with,
haven't played that one yet. Okay, cool.
No.
Yeah,
that splitting witch that I thought was super cool.
Hashtag split witch.
The only thing the only cool thing the EAZ had to offer.
Yeah.
That was one thing you guys were really glad I wasn't around for, because I had a lot of comments on that.
Yeah.
The one positive thing for the EAZ was that boss fight, and I thought it was the coolest thing, and PlayStation people have been playing it for a year.
Yeah, I've had it for a year.
Now I'm mad.
I've had it for a year.
Now I'm mad.
We're talking about that strike? Is that what you're referring to? Okay.
Yeah.
That's the final boss.
It's a cool fight.
Yeah.
Split witch.
I mean, it's shockingly less cool in strike form, because we beat it in. There's a triumph for like killing both versions of the witch within 10 seconds of each other, and I didn't even know that, but I got it.
Nice.
We just melted her, and I wasn't even max light. I just was like, oh, I'm doing a strike. And so it was shockingly less fun than it was in the EAZ as far as the boss fight goes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But that is the strike. And now that I'm finding out that that's the strike that I got that was always taken away from me by Daddy Activision, I'm mad because I got to carry worms and fight a witch that's split in half. No.
They paid good money to create that content.
Yeah.
That you're now enjoying for free, said the Activision publishing rep. What I really like the what's it called? I want to call it the Shadowkeep Castle, but
That's basically what it is.
What is the actual name though? Not the Hidden Swarm, the place with the stuff, the Scarlet Keep. There we go.
That's the one. Good work on that Google.
Yep. Traversing the Scarlet Keep is a pretty cool place. I love the new aesthetic and the red and you're going through this whole castle. You're like, when does this thing end? And you just keep going and climbing and going. Yeah. It was fun though. And then, you know what? The one thing that disappointed me was that the other new strike, which takes place on IO, is just sitting there.
Yeah.
There's no
that was
quest.
So weird.
There's no.
Yeah, I haven't done it yet because I didn't know it was on IO until about 14 seconds ago.
Yep.
It was.
Well, I got news for you. It is significant in the terms of like the ongoing story of Destiny. It's really cool, and it's Vex. So there you go.
All right.
I don't want to spoil it.
I got something to do tomorrow.
It was so weird though, because it's just like, oh, hey, this cave that you pass by every time.
Like, here's a strike.
It's in there.
And if that strike was made circa Taken King, it would have been part of a post-campaign quest line.
Right.
Just like we had. But it just kind of sits there, and I'm kind of disappointed. And the guys who made the strikes have to be disappointed that it's just sitting there and nobody's even playing it or knows that it's there or why they should play it.
Yeah.
And those things they've said specifically, like strikes are very resource intensive to make. Right. And that's why we don't see as many anymore. But I feel like they kind of have to, there's almost this need that they have to check the box off now in Destiny with strikes. Like, if they put out a release without strikes, people would lose their minds.
Yeah, and it's weird. They've kind of got us trained. They started doing that, like you just pointed out, they started doing that thing where they make the strike a story mission, and they did that a while ago. That's not a new thing at all.
Yeah, that was Curse of Osiris. They started doing that.
Why on earth would they make a strike and not make it part of any sort of ongoing story? Or why not tie it into like what's going on with the Vex offensive?
Right.
I think it's either cut content or there was some changes made after it was already like in the pipeline. They said, you know what, we can either leave this or we can finish it and put it in the content.
Why not even throw it in that secret exotic quest that showed up?
Great question.
Yeah. Like, do you guys know about the secret exotic quest?
Yeah. And hey, you know what?
Fun.
There's more. There's at least 2 more exotic quests on the way that could totally tie into this strike. Right. So we may be speaking too soon because we've got.
But I kind of wish that it would come out with that then, because then I'd be like, no strike.
Yeah.
Bungie, you got me, because I obviously wasn't missing the strike. I didn't even know it existed.
Right. Yeah. Well, either way, it's there. Go play it.
I'm gonna.
It's called the Festering Mind, and it's also, if you go and do a regular Nightfall this week, as opposed to Nightfall the Ordeal, it's one of the missions on the rotation.
Really?
One of the strikes that you can.
I'm gonna live tweet that. So follow me at Better Off Blue on Twitter. I'm gonna live tweet that. What the day this episode goes live? Yeah, how's that sound?
Can't wait to see your live tweet this of a strike playthrough.
Right, I've been doing it this whole time. Everything, yeah. No.
Getting scoop.
Lord Daddy Cyborg.
Lord Daddy.
Talk about chicken.
Lectern Papa.
Lectern Papa.
Chicken father.
Chicken sister. That doesn't work.
I'll take it.
No, it's close enough.
It's 2019. Inclusivity. Yeah. Come on.
Hey, what do you guys think about the season pass?
So far,
AKA the battle pass of Destiny.
I think it's fine. I don't have strong feelings either way about it right now because I don't feel like I'm getting cheated out of it out of anything. But then again, I have I purchased the deluxe edition of Shadowkeep where you get everything. Right? Oh, I know. But yeah, I don't know how I'd feel if I were just getting the top path of rewards each time. I feel right now, having the season pass for the Season of the Undying with every jump that I'm making, I like getting stuff. It's a nice path to see what exactly you're getting, which is a benefit if you're like, right now, I think I'm like 14 on the pass. I think. And
that's pretty good.
There's like, I can pick up the pants or like the arms at some point, but I'm holding off on that until I'm a little higher in light. That way they fill in.
I like that you can hold, like you can leave the item there to be redeemed at your desire.
That's a good mechanic.
That is cool.
It's a strong leveling tool, honestly.
Oh yeah, I've used that several times to my advantage.
I wish some of the gear that is in the battle pass maybe was in the raid instead of the raid gear, but that's another story for another time.
That was a story from a month and a half ago.
I'm still beating that drum.
The feling is still there.
Oh, I appreciate you doing that because you got a platform. I just yell into the void on Twitter and lose followers.
But yeah, it's just like there are some things that are confusing about it, and I get it. Like you want to have something there for later on for people to pick up on, but I just think that that armor to me is what I'm grinding for instead of raid armor, which feels weird to say.
I see. It's cool armor. Yeah. I mean, the armor that is in there, and it's the Vex offensive stuff. If you're curious and listening, it's that you can get the armor there, or you can get it in the Vex offensive. There is also a series of weapons that I believe is just through the pass, though. Like there's an auto rifle that I picked up, Plurperfect. I don't know if that's how it's really said.
I hope it is.
There's a machine gun that I saw. And I don't know if that stuff is going to show up in Vex Offensive, but those are cool weapons. But they're nice.
Yeah, they're nice. They're fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole battle, the fact that I don't have to pay for it makes it fine. The top row is just for people who are free to play right now. So
yes,
I don't mean this to sound crass, but like at least they're getting something. You know, like
sure. Yeah.
So, but when they first announced a battle pass, I'm like, I'm not buying Shadowkeep and a battle pass. And they're like, no, it comes with it. And I was like, oh, cool. Wait, then why?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's fine. It's fine. I kind of wish that Vex armor that's in like the back half of it, because I'm at like 48, level 48 or something. And so I haven't gotten any of the cool stuff yet. But there's weird stopgaps. Like you get the Ariana's Vow right in the beginning,
like
and then
4 times, right?
Yeah, something like that. And then so you get that a bunch of times, but then you eventually get the catalyst. Yeah, thank you, from Banshee, and you can't level it up efficiently until you're level 22 in the battle pass, because one of your rewards in the battle pass is leveling the Ariana's Vow catalyst faster. That's not a reward to me. That's silly. Give me something I can use. Yeah. And they keep giving me packs of planetary materials where I'm like, cool, I'll throw these on the pile, I guess. Like, I don't know. It's just, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's just
negligible.
I liked getting useful stuff like the new leveling well, I don't even remember what they're called. Leveling
Upgrade
cores, I don't
something,
know,
upgrade
upgrade
cores or
cores, which I've got all these enhancement cores that are somewhat useless now.
Yeah, they're just sitting around collecting dust.
No, you need them.
At one point, they were the bane of everyone's existence. Now they're
right. Now there's a
now
new
I
problem.
have 400 of them. Yay!
yeah. But how many cores do you have?
A
What,
bunch,
enhancement
like
cores?
500.
Like 500, 400?
Well, I mean the cubes.
Oh, the new
cubes,
thing.
the new thing.
Oh, you can only hold 25.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
see.
And
See?
I've
I
maxed
can't
that.
even I can't even collect so many to brag about them because they
Right.
kept me, and I can't even stick them in the vault. They're just keeping inventory space.
And they said they literally did that to discourage hoarding. Like, are you kidding me? You discouraging how I play this game? Who even are you? What is this?
You know what? I don't feel bad that those guys are beating Scourge in 8 minutes anymore.
Here's what I do like. I like this sense of overall progress through the season by just doing stuff. Yeah. I like the nice little dopamine hit that I get when it says season pass, level up. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing useful stuff.
Which there's another thing that is tied to this that is a quality of life change that I freaking love. And it's that you can buy, I think you can pick up all of the bounties on a vendor.
Picking up extra
and then
bounties.
You can pick up extra bounties.
Oh, yeah.
You get done with a couple of those and you're like, I want to grab a couple more. You can go ahead and scoop those mashed potatoes on your plate. Still thinking about that chicken sandwich. But then, like, it's... but
dude, you're building a feast and I'm going to be so hungry when we're done.
But that's such a good quality of life feature because that allows you to play how you want with your time.
Yep.
And...
Well, and it's especially useful for a few of the vendors where, so the gunsmith and the Lord Shax and the Zavala, they have weekly bounties that require you to complete 8 bounties, but you can't do those all on the same day. But you can pay a little extra money and grab a few random bounties if you didn't quite have enough, and it's really smart.
Right. And
it's really smart.
Yeah, it was such a cool thing to see. I blew a bunch of glimmer on it, not knowing what I was doing first. I was just like, why am I able to keep grabbing this? And then I was like, oh my god, this is great. I could just keep grabbing these. And like, so I can kind of negligibly do them as I play, because I don't tend to take a look at my bounties and be like, okay, what do I got to do for this one? I generally don't do that.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I play the game and one pops off. I'm like, you know what, Dad? That's cool. But yeah,
cool. Dad.
It allows me to play whatever activity I want for that day. If I want to jump into Crucible or Gambit or the Vanguard strikes and everything, and really push. I can push that pass regardless of what I'm doing, and almost infinitely. So it's useful.
Yeah, and I like that I have a little bit better reason to run some bounties, because I really, get to a point where you're resource rich, you don't need the drop anymore because you've already done the thing. Why would I go back and pick up bounties before I go do this? But well, I'm going to run some strikes. I better grab some bounties for those strikes so I can get progress of XP. And so it makes you feel like you're accomplishing something else kind of behind the scenes, right? And I like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
And I think I'm level 30 something on the pass, and that I didn't save a lot of bounties. I just keep picking stuff up while I'm playing.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can get pretty far on it.
Yeah. So another big quality of life thing that I absolutely adore is that quests now track all the way through. That is something that was the thing.
Yeah, it just carries on from one to the other.
It was almost like, is this
that
game
is
in
useful.
2013 yet? It is now in 2013. It tracks the quest.
You know what else is fantastic? When you have a quest step and it says you need to go to Earth and do this thing on Earth, and you highlight that quest step, you go to the director, it's got a big arrow on Earth on the zone where you go, and it's even leading you to where the thing is if you go to the right place.
Heck yeah.
Like, way easier to find stuff.
Have you noticed in the director now, you get a little itty bitty tiny arrow underneath the planet that you're on?
Yeah,
So
that's
cute.
what I'm talking about.
It's a cute little arrow.
I saw that. It was like, now my ADHD won't be like, I got to go to the moon. I'm on the moon. I'm on the moon. What am I doing?
Until you
That's where
forget.
I'm at.
And then you're going
to... Don't worry, guys. It's okay. I figured it out. I am where I am.
Also
It's
still
good.
on the
Wait,
moon.
where am I? I didn't say moon yet, did I?
Guys,
I'm
we
on
gotta
the moon. Okay.
we gotta go to the moon, guys. Oh yeah, I'm on
Blue's
the
just
moon.
so confused. He always thinks he's on the moon.
he thinks he's on the moon. What's happening? No, but I just that little tiny arrow. I was like, was that always there? Because it's so small. I was like, no, I would have noticed that. No, is that new? I can't tell. But I don't know. For some reason, that I really liked that.
Yeah. That's a good little change.
Couple things before we run out of time. Armor 2.0. Any thoughts on Armor 2.0 so far?
Still, part of the reason why I have that notebook next to my desk is to kind of show, like, kind of remind me what I'm going for in certain builds. And honestly, I think I don't think it's going to be a thing where I have a set of what I'm looking for until probably like 3 months out. So I'm not even worried about it. I'm just like deleting stuff that's under 50 and keeping all the stuff that's over 60. Like absolutely keeping the stuff out over 60. I had a chest piece from year 1 that was like 63 and I was like, oh, I didn't even know what I was sitting on.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
So on your armor piece, it gives you it shows you the numbers and fills out the bar for each individual stat. Your core 6 is what I've been calling it because it sounds cool.
Cute.
So your core 6 stats, it gives you a breakdown of where all those points go, and at the bottom it tells you a total. If the total is 50 or lower, it's not a great roll. Just in general, I find. But if you're in the 50s to 55, it's okay. 55 to 60, it's pretty good. It's better than okay. And then like 60 on, that's when you're in your sweet spot of like maxing out the amount on your gear score. So what you'll want to do is just keep an eye on those pieces and what perks you're looking for, and maybe keep them for certain builds, maybe not. But and
you also want to pay attention to how far is the piece level already.
Absolutely. On the
is it level 1
on the elemental
versus
bar.
There's
just so much to pay attention to, and I don't feel like I can fully grasp it right now. We're in week 1.
Just kind of cracking it open, you know?
We're in week 1 of this thing. I know what I'm aiming for on my Arc Strider. I want high discipline on that papa, because I'm going to be running dual nades. And like in solar, I'm probably going to want intellect and strength. That way I can just keep chucking knives.
Right.
On my blade barrage. I'm looking at each class and kind of conjecturing what I'd want to see, what I want that class to do.
Yeah.
And based on that, I'm looking at the core 6 stats and be like, okay, well, I need this and this. So I'm just going to highlight those 2 things and look for pieces with that. And if I don't have it, if it doesn't have a high enough stat in that regard, it's out the door. I don't need it.
See, I'm on the other side of all of this. I don't care about armor stats, period. And I never have. And when they announced Armor 2.0, I went, really? You put your time into that? And I'm not saying that there isn't a place for it. I'm sure there is. But one of the things that I've said for a while now is those things do play a role. Those stats do play a role in the game, but there's a certain skill level that they actually kind of kick in. You know, I can put on any set of armor and carry any gun and do halfway decent in the Crucible. I'm learning that right now because I'm running scout rifles in a Crucible that has no business having scout rifles in it right now. But I liked the, you know, I was earlier when they first started announcing, I was comparing it to the old Apple versus PC commercials and how Apple was pushing how simple and user friendly their UIs were and how confusing PC were. Now we've obviously gotten much closer. Those two brands have gotten much closer in their accessibility over the years, but I'm afraid that what we've had, which is simple and understandable, from a, you know, I know a lot of people who play with their kids and young kids, like 8, 9, 10, and I think that having simple armor that's basically like, well, there's a couple things you might want to consider, but mainly put what you want that looks good. Yeah. And going into, you can min-max the crap out of this if you want to. I just immediately was like, I don't care about that at all, because frankly, I do pretty well without all that. And I would be very curious to see, you know, I'm a big Monster Hunter fan, and there's a YouTube channel called Monster Hunter Math Guys, and they sit down and crunch numbers and will give you the ultimate, like the way Datto does in some of his videos every now and then, DPS style. I would love to see someone sit down and go, if you grind out this perfect set for this utility, you will have this much more efficiency in the thing you're trying to do. I'm willing to bet that those numbers would make you go, oh, that's probably not worth it, but I'll work on it as I go, but I ain't going to put too much effort into it. So Armor 2.0 is kind of like the Battle Pass. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure there are some stats that'll actually be more effective than others too. Like,
but I mean, nothing's going to be more effective than like when you combine 1-2 punch with what's the Titan, Peregrine Greaves.
Yeah, when
you figure out on PC, you can shoot and shoulder charge in a single motion, and it is devastating. Right, that's why they had to disable it. And I don't need any of those numbers at all. I can use 40-point gear all day long and still crush ultras with that combo. You know, so to me, figuring out what the things that sync up well in terms of playstyle, weapons, and exotics and things like that, that's going to be far more useful than min-maxing numbers. But that's just from my point of view. Someone could definitely prove me wrong, and I would love that information. But from big picture, I don't see them being game-changing.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, I could be super wrong. I don't know. I'm kind of a dum-dum.
We're going to find out.
I just think of it like, so a lot of my education when it comes to the stats is like from watching Fallout's videos, about like, is this stat worth investing in? He was doing those a lot before this content came out. And, like most of the time, like handling and stability, you don't need to invest in it, right? It's like, it's kind of like a waste. But when you're looking at range and a couple of other stats, like it's worthwhile to kind of like invest in those for your long game. I think that's going to be kind of like that in the gear set as well. Maybe like the ones that directly affect your abilities, I think you're going to want to keep investing in, just to minimize the amount of time. Because I think without it, it's like 5 minutes for super. Like at base 1 is 5 minutes for super.
Yeah.
And yeah, so if you're wanting to speed that up at all, it might be worthwhile to look into it.
Well, there's also things like Monte Carlo, which will get your I think it's your melee ability or your grenade.
Yeah.
I think it's your melee. There's other armor pieces that kind of syncopate with these things. I don't know if that's the right word, but I decided to use
factors in too, because like I got this loud lullaby earlier that has demolitionist and outlaw on it. Normally, wouldn't even think about it at all. Like, it's a nice gun. Sure, I've shot it a few times. It's straight back and forth. Rad. I'll take it. But now I'm like, that would actually work really well on my Arc Strider build that I'm trying to make with high discipline, because that would just feed into my grenades faster with every kill. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm looking for overall. Is
it's gonna allow us to make some interesting builds and do things that maybe weren't always possible in D2, but might have been in D1.
I think in a certain way it blows open the meta. Like,
yeah. The problem I have though is that in Destiny especially, the more complexity they introduce into gear, the more trash gets created.
Yes, that is very true.
And you have to spend an inordinate amount of time figuring out what's trash and what's not. And in Destiny 2 Forsaken era, at the very least, you're looking at 3 stats and 2 perks. And it's a lot more streamlined to make those builds. And now I've got to look at 6 different stats, all of which matter.
Yeah.
And I had to like talk with my raid team when we were raiding this weekend, because I said, guys, is everybody wearing armor 2.0? Because I'm just looking and realizing my resilience is at 2 and I'm getting my butt kicked and I'm not even realizing it, because I usually run resilience 8 and I'm not even going to have close to good enough armor right now for what we're playing, but I don't have anything that I can put on that's better. And so you've got to find somehow this better gear and figure out how to work this system. And I'm worried that by the time a lot of players figure the system out, they're going to disregard it and have a worse experience.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the double-edged sword of introducing more RPG to the game. You know?
Like, and like I've said, I've been sharding a lot of stuff. I have not been keeping a lot. I've also been doing that with weapons, though. We've been, when I stream on Sundays, the back half of it, we do randomized private matches where we just hit random on dim. Play with those weapons. If you like the weapon, keep it. If you don't, throw it out of the pool. And so that's kind of how I'm looking at. That's how I'm looking at weapons. When it comes to armor, I have a very specific eye for what I'm looking for, and I think you'll have more players kind of paying attention to that overall.
Here's one thing I do like, and then we'll have to unfortunately wrap this up, although we could probably talk about it for an hour. I do like that, especially on armor, I'm able to play around with my mods a lot. Because I'm not worrying about the finite number of mods. It's just the materials I need to apply them, of which I have plenty. So when I was in the raid, I'm able to, let me try putting these on. Let me get like a better loader, mod on here. Let me put this on. And I was able to swap stuff in and out on the fly and play with builds that I normally, in the past, because I'm such a hoarder of stuff, I wouldn't put mods on stuff that I should have unless I knew this is the gun. This is my favorite gun. I'm going to put the boss spec on this gun. Even though I have 15 of them, I'm going to spend that one on this one gun. Now I can put it on whatever. I could put major resist. Let me throw that on here. I'm having trouble with majors. Let me put major resist on these 2 pieces, without really a lot of concern for losing anything. That's fun. I like that. Well, we've covered a lot.
And there's so much more.
Of course, the raid happened this week. Yeah, there's a lot more, and there's a lot more coming.
Strap in for hour 3 of this podcast.
Brought to you by MeUndies. Just kidding. The Garden of Salvation happened this week. I know I dipped my toe in. We got in a good solid half a day into that raid and haven't finished. Blue, I know you've spent some time in there too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hope to cover that in the coming weeks as I finish it and get through it, but I don't want to spoil anything for anybody either. All I will say is I love it. It's been super fun so far, and the environment is beautiful.
Yeah.
Blue, you got any
really awesome.
one sentence thought on it?
It's a lot of fun, and I like the new mechanics.
Yeah, with when they work. When they are functioning as intended.
I haven't had that issue. That sounds like a user error, but I've already used my sentence. So we'll move on. Next topic.
Don't fight with me about these laser beams, man.
I like them. They've been great.
Oh, you are a bad human being.
Dude, I'm being honest.
Don't remind me why I don't ask you to come on. Okay.
I literally didn't know this was an issue for you because we've had no issues. Man, I think maybe you need a new raid team. You know where I'm at. You got my number.
Oh, God.
I'm going to get you in so much trouble.
Start here. Yep. So look forward to Garden of Salvation talk in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
Normally we would have some Dirt Fam discourse. We're going to abstentiate from that segment this week. Big word. That's this week's big word. But we're looking for feedback. We would love to hear what you think about all the different aspects of the game that we've discussed this week. There's so much, but if you've got a bone in your craw or you've got something that you're really excited about, send us some feedback. You can send us your emails, destinyresetpodcast@gmail.com, or a speak pipe, which is like a voicemail, speakpipe.com/destinyreset. I want to hear what you love and hate about Shadowkeep so we can talk about it on the show next week and in the coming weeks. We got a few patron shout outs. Dan, would you do me the honor of shouting out our patrons this week?
Why, certainly.
Let me just get back to the show notes.
Blackhawk_exit13. Peridot. Ectological. Legend of Excallion. Thank you.
Perfect.
For your patronage.
Thank you for becoming patrons. If you don't know what a patron is, you go to patreon.com/destinyreset, where for as little as $1 a month, you can support the production budget of our show. And in return, you get a shout out right here. You get your gamer tag on our website, which there's a slew of you guys. And you get an invitation to a Discord channel just for Dirt Fan patrons and supporters. The topic this week is chicken sandwiches. So come hang out. Talk about chicken sandwiches. And thank you, as always, for the listeners who every single week give and support us. It makes a huge difference in what we're able to do with the show. Well, gentlemen, thank you for coming this week.
Thank you.
About Destiny.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Can you each tell us where we can find you on the internet? Blue, you start.
I was going to say no.
You can find me.
No. Okay.
I'm retiring.
I'll wait.
This is my last podcast.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, this is your last
is it.
podcast. I thought you had
This
20
is
more
it.
to wrap
I
up.
got 18 more that I'm on my retirement tour. I'm wrapping it up. Go ahead.
All right. Well, you'll be missed. You can find me on Twitter at BetterOffBlue. That's probably the best place to find me. I stream occasionally on Twitch at BetterOffBlue, but my schedule has been all over the place because I'm gonna plug this one real quick. I'm getting married this weekend,
Hey-o.
so yeah. So I'm all over the place. You know, starting a family and being like a person. So
Man, what a time to be alive.
Congratulations.
I know. Yeah, but yeah, if you want to follow me, thank you. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'll live tweet that strike when I do it.
Oh, I thought you were going to live tweet the wedding. I was like,
Oh, that would be great.
That'd be great. I'll live tweet the wedding.
Seriously?
You're welcome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's
Yep.
Cyborg's gonna be. Yeah, you're gonna be up. You know you have to stand on the stage, right?
I can have my phone though, right?
I mean, you can, but everyone's gonna be like, that guy won't put his phone away.
I'm kidding.
Keep saying
I'm not
something
gonna
about
be that
Derp
guy.
Fam. What the fuck's Derp Fam?
Yeah, right.
I'm going to give a toast and be live streaming it Yo, Dirt Fam.
Oh my god.
This goes out to Dirt Fam.
Be sure to smash
Here's our
that button.
Here's my Patreon shout-outs.
This month?
This one.
All right. We got to wrap this up. Dan, where can people find
Hi,
you?
my name is Infinity. You can find me 4 days a week on Twitch, twitch.tv/Danfinity. I refuse to tell you which days until you bring me a chicken Sandy. You can find me on Planet Destiny podcast every Sunday at 7 p.m. live, twitch.tv/planet_destiny. It also goes to podcast feeds. You can find Destiny Digest, my daily podcast about the news of Destiny, just anywhere you got podcasts. Anywhere you like podcasts, that's where we got them. You can get them there.
There we are.
It's very free. Look into it.
Lovely. And you should definitely go and enjoy this man's slew of content. I support him wholeheartedly.
Well, I love you too. Wait, hold on. You didn't say that.
You can find...
Okay.
I mean, I did not say it. You can find us at Destiny Reset on Twitter. You can find us on the web, www.destinyresetpodcast.com. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, thank you for your reviews. BHavoc090, Gare Eltz 7, Mech 532, Blitzkrieg 311. I saw your reviews. Thank you so much. If you're listening, please go leave us a review. It gets us seen and heard by more listeners just like you. And go find us on the internet. Come hang out in our discord.gg/Destiny Reset if you want a community of like-minded guardians that love the game and want to play together and have fun. Until next reset, have fun playing Destiny 2 and take care, Guardians.